Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Ukradowski of WeAreChange.org, and yet another edition of the hell's going on? And that's why in this video we're going to be talking about the new evidence pointing to Jeffrey Epstein being an intelligence officer, Peter Thiel warning us about the AI Manhattan Project, CNN idiotically or purposefully or probably both promoting political violence, along with the latest information on Iran and Turkey in regards to American-U.S. foreign policy. That plus a lot more from an independent news organization that is still, against all odds, still surviving, mainly because, can you guess why we're here unstifled, being able to criticize powerful players on the left and right, uncovering how this idiotic system keeps cycling and building itself up to more prominence, following the basic principles of idiocracy? Do you know why? Well, mainly because of you participating in the fight for free speech and getting involved and clicking the link to WeAreChange.org/donate and deciding to do something about the suppression of speech. Few people who do donate, sincerely, thank you very much for doing so, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Now, moving forward with our first story of the day, something that, of course, we're not shy about talking about, since, of course, we've been talking about this story for years now, and that, of course, is all the controversy surrounding Jeffrey Epstein, with more shocking developments still coming out day by day. A story that should give us a lot to think about to how actually our system is corrupt to the core. And I say that for a very specific reason. Not only as Truth Out points at how the rich make their own rules here, but there's more to the story about just Epstein's wealth, which again, people need to understand here, is a mystery within itself. Epstein operated in many international territories where, of course, there was no accounting, and a lot of the properties that we know about, not only just about his mansions and private islands and big jets, they're the ones who are publicly on the record. There's probably a lot more assets that we don't even know about, since, again, this man is shrouded in absolute mystery with, of course, the help and protection from previously, and it's important to add that previously from the most important people in our society. Still, why many people question if there will actually be any justice here, because this man was previously able to get away with astronomical crimes with, of course, a slap on the wrist. We all know about that, but this does look like it's proceeding in the right way as we're getting more revelation of new evidence suggesting, of course, that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence officer, agent, spy, whatever you want to call it, with the growing evidence that prosecutors are saying is getting stronger by the day, including new evidence that they found in Jeffrey Epstein's safe in the Manhattan mansion, which the Sun labels the pedo pad, which they found in his safe. Not only piles of cash, photos of what officials believe is underage women, and now the new information coming out, a fake Saudi passport with Jeffrey Epstein's face on it with a different name. Passport, by the way, that only recently expired, that listed Epstein living in Saudi Arabia, which again is a possibility here. And I wish the authorities would release the name to understand what kind of aliases Jeffrey Epstein was using. And again, people need to realize this is all in his mansion in New York City, and compare that to what this man most likely has on his private island, where authorities are not legally allowed to enter, where, of course, other people are saying that he had a sealed off limits room with, of course, a secret steel safe in it. And you would think a man who's legally registered as a pedophile would know better than to have that incriminating evidence, as well as photos of what authorities believe to be underage women in New York. But allegedly he didn't, which is strange to understand in this entire case. But again, most importantly here, the passport is yet more evidence concluding on what we reported to you previously before, and that is most likely that Jeffrey Epstein is tied to an intelligence agency. The Daily Beast even reported that the man that gave him the sweetheart deal, Acosta, who recently had to resign because of this controversy, that it was Acosta who said that Epstein belonged to, quote, intelligence and was above his pay grade to go after. Now, Alex Acosta was actually asked about this during his press conference days before he resigned, when he promised he was not going to resign. During the press conference, he was asked directly about Epstein being connected to intelligence around that specific issue, and he refused to answer that question, which, in my opinion, is strong evidence pointing and suggesting that Jeffrey Epstein was a part of an intelligence agency that was running a fraud and blackmail racket, especially with the fact that there was now photos found in this safe as well in New York. And as we've been reporting for you for many years now, his connections are just absolutely insane, as even new information is coming out that the former Israeli prime minister said that he actually visited Jeffrey Epstein's private pedo island, but that he, quote, never partied with or met any, quote, young women, allegedly to him. It's also important to note here that what many people believe to be Jeffrey Epstein's groomer or pimp is, of course, Ghislaine Maxwell, whose father, by the way, is also a very prominent media mogul who has ties to Israeli intelligence. And it's important to note here that Jeffrey Epstein literally was in business with the former Israeli prime minister, which, as of just an hour ago, allegedly, the former prime minister's lawyers are working to dissolve the limited partnership that he officially had with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, how more incredulous could it get? Where, again, a known pedophile that has been able to break the law, get away with horrible crimes for so long, has so many connections. How more in your face do you really need it to see the bigger picture of what's happening here? I mean, Epstein's lawyers even bragged about and said officially on the public record that Jeffrey Epstein helped create the Clinton Global Initiative. And now everyone, from the former Israeli Prime Minister Barack, from Bill Clinton, and now even the head of Victoria's Secrets, Les Wexner, are trying, of course, to distance themselves from Jeffrey Epstein, saying that no, they had absolutely no clue at all what was happening. As conveniently as that is for them, it is most likely bull. Mr. I did not have sexual relations with that. I mean, come on. Come on, seriously? And there's a lot of evidence suggesting that that is lies. And again, I don't have to just... I mean, look at one particular story where a young model says that she was told that Jeffrey Epstein was in charge of Victoria's Secret, of course, because of his connections and friendship with Les Wexner. Again, which this model said that Epstein used it to his advantage to do unspeakable acts with. Because of. And again, we're just getting a small picture of how the system works, the promises being made here, which of course is a very similar way to how Hollywood and the upper echelons of our political system work as well. Undeprived, illegal, emotional abuse, which could, in my opinion, explain the representations of these corrupted institutions to what they really are. And now moving forward with a separate story about another billionaire, entrepreneur and venture capitalist Peter Thiel, making many public appearances and statements regards to our current social, political, technological society, saying recently in a, quote, interesting interview with Tucker Carlson just moments ago that Elizabeth Warren is the, quote, most dangerous Democratic candidate, since all the other candidates are unimpressive because they focus on identity politics, while Elizabeth Warren focuses on the economy and other important issues. And when it comes to the other issues, Thiel most likely is talking about Elizabeth Warren's stance on breaking up the big tech monopolies, which could be one reason why she's not getting that much attention, not only on social media, but also on the mainstream media. You look at Elizabeth Warren. She used to get a lot of attention, but right now in the whole Democratic field, I rarely see her mentioned or talked about, other than, of course, this recent Peter Thiel interview on Fox News, of all places. And that's important to bring up because this is a similar epithet that Peter Thiel is also bringing up recently, saying that the FBI and CIA should investigate Google. Specifically, if Google has been infiltrated by, quote, Chinese intelligence. Now, Thiel specifically brought up the fact that Google worked with China, specifically on what he called engaging in the seemingly treasonous decision to work with the Chinese military and not with the US military. All of this is happening on the background, of course, with the information that Google was working on a censored search version of its platform, with, of course, participation of the Chinese government, which some sources are saying that they officially discontinued to do so, while other sources still say that the project is still happening. Google, of course, is denying any of these claims, saying that, quote, they do not work with the Chinese military, which is an interesting, very, very detailed statement here. But regardless of that, Peter Thiel also made statements about woke Google employees who, because of their perceived hatred of the United States, that in his opinion would be more willing to work with China because of that. Now, specifically, Peter Thiel is voicing his concerns about what many people internally and externally of Google are calling the AI Manhattan Project. If you don't know what the Manhattan Project is, it is the project that had thousands of people working on it, not knowing that they were creating the atomic bomb, employing over 130,000 Americans, with only around a dozen of them knowing what they were doing, proving that yes, governments can successfully run a conspiracy and be able to hide it from everyone, including the people making it happen. Sorry, important history context that I think is important to understand here. But with this alleged AI Manhattan Project that Peter Thiel says Google is at the helms of, he is calling, of course, for the CIA and FBI to investigate it, so the US military has these capabilities. And that should scare the crap out of everyone, because in my opinion, no government or even private interest should have the abilities to build something that many state leaders have called a new weapon that will be more powerful than the atomic bomb. And that, of course, is artificial intelligence. But because of all of this, we're getting the latest information that Trump will actually investigate Google after these Peter Thiel comments, with Trump even saying that Thiel is, quote, great and brilliant guy who knows this subject better than anyone. Trump administration will take a look. And again, the discussion here is an extremely important one, but a very rare one that a lot of people are not having, with Thiel even previously saying, quote, Silicon Valley has been a lot more dishonest about artificial intelligence than we were about the nuclear bomb, aka the Manhattan Project, and we have also had less discussion of it. And on that point, what do you guys think? What's your thoughts on Peter Thiel's comments, Trump's reactions, Google response? Where do you think this will go? Because again, when you talk about the latest technological advancements, especially in weaponry, which obviously it will be used for, that there's a lot of implications to really scare the bejesus out of you. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. I mean, we had our brief discussions twice now and interactions with Peter Thiel, and I believe the fact that he is a Bilderberg member and does hang out with individuals like Eric Schmidt, who are a big part of that meeting, I think also could lead us down an interesting conversation point around this. By the way, I'm also going to leave the Peter Thiel video in the description below so you could see some of the conversations that we had with him. But moving forward, in other major Trump decisions, we are getting word from the White House that, quote, Donald Trump is not interested in regime change in Iran, and that the United States is, quote, ready to negotiate. This, of course, is after the Iranian leadership said also that they are ready to negotiate. And of course, we will be skeptically keeping a very close eye on this and reporting on it very closely, since, of course, this is a major story that we've been concentrating on. Even because of this latest announcement, oil prices have gone down dramatically, and there's a lot more to discuss here, especially with the very complex situation in the Middle East, especially when it comes to the U.S. relationship with Turkey right now, who, by the way, is celebrating their delivery of Russian missiles, S-400 defense systems, and says that they will plan to even build new weapons together with Russia, which of course the United States is not happy about, and the United States even levied sanctions against Turkey because of. And now moving into our last story, it definitely seems that CNN, either purposefully or idiotically, again, I think both are contributing factors to the conundrum that is the alleged, quote, most trusted name in news, since new information suggests that they are glorifying a man who is now known for firebombing and attacking an ICE detention facility because he believed that they were, quote, concentration camps. Again, a member of Antifa, which was praised by CNN, documented, and even had a CNN showrunner publicly tweet that people should donate and support the organization that he was a part of. This man that took up arms, firebombs, just recently in what people are calling a domestic terrorist attack, also released his manifesto. And the manifesto again repeated the absurd assertions that the temporary immigration facilities in the United States are, quote, concentration camps. Thoughts first put out there by, of course, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which again are absolutely hyperbolic, which are absolutely stupid, which are absolutely insane, that an individual took seriously. Now, of course, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is not responsible for the actions of crazy individuals. That's not what I'm saying here. But when it comes to the culture war, these escalations do need to be noted and understood. But to me, they're a form of mental disease that is being propagated by the most mentally ill in our society. Like Sean King, who's praising. He praised this man, even saying his actions will be called terrorism and people will call him crazy, but neither are true. And of course, with this, expect more insanity from the culture war and people just losing the complete picture of how, hey, violence, firebombing, killing, and attacking is wrong, no matter where you stand politically, but it being somehow accepted by some deranged individuals that are getting a lot of attention, that's being propagated by the mainstream media, that's being propagated by Google, that, by the way, is promoting CNN, that is recommending CNN, that is destroying independent media, not only demonetizing it, deranking it, but also, hell, deleting content, deleting not only entire channels, entire individuals' livelihood, but including deleting some of my videos that I don't even know what videos were deleted. I'm looking at my count of all my views and I'm seeing negative couple 10,000, couple 100,000 throughout my time period, and I don't know what happened. So again, question everything, because our society, I do believe, purposefully is being led down a path that is meant to hurt us, subjugate us, control us, and also profit off from all of the misery that it causes. That's my opinion. What do you think? Just, some light dinner conversation that you could probably entertain with your friends and family members. If you did enjoy this video, share it with your friends and family members, because YouTube definitely won't. And because some of you still do, because some of you still donate, that's why we're still able to be here. That's why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on WeAreChange.org.